Observatory, Kochi, Japan, and also I like to show my Jupiter radio research work and activity later first. Okay, and first of all, I'd like to introduce very new software, so-called Jupiter radio map for iPhone by Kazamasa Imai, and also Jupiter radio map for iPad. My student created this software for 2 years, and for students engaged in developing this software. Please raise your hand if you are using Jupiter radio map. Oh, okay, thank you very much. And let me show you the iPhone. So you can do that. No. Okay. Okay. So. Okay. So this is my iPhone, and just turn on the radio map. You can download from App Store anytime, and it's free of charge. And this is very interesting because you can see the real time. So Jupiter is here now. Okay, so this is UT, and also you can play with the other date condition, something like this. So very simple, super easy software. And also, I'd like to introduce Jupiter radio map for iPad. So, okay, so this is my iPad mini. Okay, and here is Jupiter radio map. Okay, now you can play with on the CML iFace plane, so you can see the configuration of the Jupiter IO system. Very easy to understand what's going on, and also so you can play with that time, and also you can put current time, axis, range, region, etc. Okay, so please use this software for your students and for you. Okay, so let me introduce myself. I'm teaching electromagnetic wave engineering and computer network engineering at the Kochi National College of Technology, Japan. And when I was a middle school student, I was amateur radio. This is old code sign J5 EMF, Japan, America, 5, Denmark, Mike, Foxtrot. And this is my current email address, imai@jupiter.jp. Okay, so let me introduce Mr. Toshimitsu Ohno. He's a Agawa school superintendent, and his old call sign is J5 WWZ. Okay, Toshi.
Okay. My name is Toshimitsu Ohno. I'm sorry, my poor English. So I need something note. But please give me 6 or 7 minutes, please. Actually, thank you for letting me attend this meeting. I have been working as a superintendent of schools for 9 years in a small town in Japan called Agawa. Cho means town. I'm very interested in Jupiter, which brought me here along with Dr. Imai. We rented a car and drove from Dallas Airport to Greenberg. It was a fun and comfortable drive. In Japan, it is the rainy season now, so we have a lot of rain and humidity. I don't like this season in Japan. but here in Greenberg, the weather is so refreshing and I love it. Now I will briefly introduce our town and the Agawa Observatory. As you can see on the screen, as you know, Japan is a long archipelago of about 3,000 kilometers north to south, consisting of 4 big islands: Hokkaido, Honshu, Shikoku, Kyushu. We came from Shikoku. It's a mountainous island. In summer, we have a lot of typhoon and long spells of hot weather. The annual precipitation is from 3,000 millimeters to 4,000 millimeters at maximum. The high precipitation makes it seems like a tropical climate, but the winter is very cold, with snow in January and February. In our town, the 4 seasons are distinct. The plants are varied, and you can see beautifully colored leaves in autumn. With mountains and rivers, it's full of beautiful scenery. The Nyodo River that runs through it is renowned for possessing the clearest water in Japan. You can also still find many rural traditions here in this town. This is Akiba Matsuri Festival, which is held on February 11 every year. The town is around, town is around here. The foreign population is a controversial issue in Japan and in rural areas. The population is declining year by year. The population of Agawa town is about 6,200. It's a small town in the mountains, with the elderly population growing and the young population is shrinking. The Agawa Observatory located here. This photo shows the building which holds the observatory, formerly an elementary school. It has been used for observation since 2005. The antenna for radio Jove set around here. On the roof, you can find the BLBI antenna. which was installed in 2007. This is the inside. There is a observation room here, and meeting and lodging and meeting. Occasionally, school children come to learn about the universe and nature and so on. On this slide, you can see junior high school student studying with Daji Earth, which is under development at Kyoto University. With this device, we can study 3D images by projecting the Earth or other planet onto the balloons. In 2006, Dr. James Timan and Barbara came to visit us. And last year, Dr. Charles Hinginza did as well. Since I live nearby, I am in charge of system maintenance. As it's far from town, there is no optical communication but ADSL. However, the system is still working well. I believe you have seen the streaming data delivered from the Agawa Observatory. We would like to expand the facilities little by little to contribute to researchers in this field and to give children chance to study passionately. Please keep a close eye on us. Please visit our observatory when you come to Japan. We sincerely look forward to it. That's all from me.
Okay, thank you. And from here, I'd like to introduce some advanced science for me. And Toshi told the Agawa Observatory from 2005. And we used radio Jove antenna system and radio Jove receivers to get this kind of Jupiter's radio emissions. And you know the radio sky high, so James Sky kindly puts our observatory's display on his web page. Thank you. Okay, and 2007 September, we built a VLBI antenna system. This is a ceremony, opening ceremony of the town, near the town. And this is a marker plate, including NASA Radio Jove Project Agawa Observatory, something like that, including the NASA and our college symbol. Okay, so our antenna system is cross-low-pelvic antenna. Frequency range is 18 to 36 megahertz, and the height is 17 megameters. And this is our observing room, and you can see the radio Jove receivers, and also these are the VLBI terminal. And we have a Japanese EVLBI network observing frequencies 26 to 28 megahertz. And so the VLBI system is very simple. So we are using a cross-load antenna, and we have a hybrid system, right hand and left hand signal goes to this way, and finally sampling the data at 4 megahertz. And also we are using a GPS locked atomic oscillator, and so the data will go to the Linux machines. And later on, we can retrieve the data on the internet, because this Agawa Observatory is connected to, by the ADSL, even very far from town. So it's very good way to, we have very good way to connect internet by ADSL. We are very lucky. Okay, so this is dynamic spectra, Kashima and Koch. You can see some Jupiter's radio emissions. And so by using a correlation technique of VLBI, we can get fringe, something like this. And also Kochi Agawa, Kashima Kochi, Kashima Agawa. So we can correlate all of them. And the interesting thing is, so this is dynamic spectra from here to here, just 1 minute. And so this is delay time in microsecond, and the Kochi Kashima. So we can see the fringe pattern on the this kind of color-coded plot. So this is advanced way to see the time variation of the fringe. Okay. Okay, so that's our science, and let's go back to 1955. So this is a very famous site, Mills Cross Array, to discover Jupiter's radio emissions. And as you know, Bragg and Franklin discovered Jupiter's radio emissions, and this is their record of the data, M1, IC443, and this is very famous plot. Yesterday, Chuck showed the recorded data. And the interesting thing is 1955, January 25th, and February 11th, February 15th, February 24th, February 27th, and March 10th. From these records, Jupiter's radio was discovered. And my birthday. So 1955, February 4th, exactly somewhere here. So that's the reason why I'm studying Jupiter's radio. So it means history of Jupiter radio is equal to the history of my life. Okay, one more thing. So Steve Jobs was born in 1954. Just this date. Okay, so that's the reason why I'm creating Jupiter radio map for iPhone. That makes sense? Okay, so this is Baron Berg, MIT professor, emeritus probably, and I met him 2005, and he wrote a memo to me, to Imai-san, whose life started when my astronomical career began. I'm very happy to help. Okay, so 2004 we visited the Jupiter radio discovery site, but we couldn't find anything. Just site marker only. Yeah, you saw that. Okay, let's go back to 1990, 24 years ago. I was visiting associate professor of the University of Florida, and family spent almost 1 year in Florida. And so 2 daughters and 1 son. So my elder daughter Moeko is in New York. Saeko is now medical doctor, and my son Masafumi is 3 years old at that moment. He has no memory about Florida. And but later on, you can see another slide of Masafumi. Okay, so we collaborated with Dr. Kerr. He's very famous for the Jupiter's radio research, as you know. He passed away. And also, my collaborator is Dr. Francisco Reyes. He's not changing, so this is and also, my collaborator is Wes Greenman. Okay, so I spent almost 1 year in Florida, University of Florida Radio Observatory. At that moment, the golden age of University of Florida Jupiter Radio Group. At that moment, yeah, I was very excited about many things, and so I spent for 1 year in Florida in 1990. So that's very important year. So internet explosion started. So when I come back to Japan, so I try to connect the internet, and we used some workstation or something like that. So that's the reason why I'm now director of computer center of our college. Okay, so during the stay of the Florida, I made some research about modulation range, because no one explained the origin of modulation range. And modulation range was discovered by Dr. Lihima. And I made a new model to explain the origin of modulation range in 1992, based on the Florida's research. And so, you know, the modulation range is something like that. There is a slope, and this way, and the mix. And so, these envelopes are created by terrestrial ionosphere, but these modulation ranges are created by something. So that's my research. And Francisco Reyes and Wes Greenman observed very beautiful wideband modulation range from 18 to 27 megahertz. The time range is 100 seconds. So it is very easy to understand. So this orange line has a curvature. So that's very important key to explain what the origin of the modulation range. And another range structure you can see something like this. So my model can explain only for major modulation ranges. We named it these minor modulation ranges. So there are many modulation range phenomena. Okay, so this is a plasma torus, and my model is very simple. So high dense electron densities cloud is located along the Io's orbit, and the high density electrons are going through the magnetic field line direction. So you can see the grid-like structure, something like this. So it will act like diffracting screen. Very simple, super easy to understand. So from the Earth, we can see the emission through this interference screen near Earth's orbit. So that's the reason why we see the very regular structure of modulation lanes. And so by using this idea, I wrote many papers, 5 papers. And finally, I realized this modulation lane can use the remote sensing of Jupiter's radio source. Okay, so I got PhD from Kyoto University by modeling of modulation lanes in Jupiter's decometric radio spectra. And my model can adapt major modulation lane only. So please don't ask me about the minor modulation lanes. Very difficult to explain. Okay? And so this is latest modulation lane research by our group. And we Chuck and I and Francisco, we are using LWA data. And so this LWA is very powerful. The array consists of 256 polarization dipole stands. And this is very interesting dynamic spectra. So when I saw for the first time, I was so surprised to see it. Because this is IOC spectrum, and including left-hand polarization. This blue part corresponds to the left-hand emissions, and this red part is right-hand polarization. So we sometimes see the mixed polarization around 20 megahertz in case of IOC emissions. So very mysterious emissions. And we expand this part. So I'm so surprised to see it. So there is a modulation lanes, okay? And so this is right-hand polarization, and this is left-hand polarization. So you can see the lane is penetrating all the way. So this is very important discovery from my point of view. Yeah, if we expand, so something like this. So very clearly we can see the lanes continuing, left hand and right hand. So it means the radio source is same source, including left hand and right hand emission. That's important clue to understand this kind of phenomena. Okay, so slope is something like this. Okay, so now I want to introduce the Internet Jupiter Radio Observatory. I made this homepage 2004 based on University of Florida Radio Observatory TT antenna system. So by using a TP antenna system, we consider the distribution of the chart recording real time. And so, fortunately, UFRO was connected by the internet, by radio link. So, and transmission speed is 1 megabit per second. So it is very good enough. And this is Francisco, and we used Caracolix 8-channel AD converter connected to the internet. So this is very important device. And so Jupiter radio will be observed by Florida, and the data is going through the internet toward Japan. And my server shall process data real time, and by push the bottom of line, so we can see the real time chart of the Jupiter radio. And the interesting thing is this is 22 megahertz, 18 megahertz, 20 megahertz, and 22 megahertz, right and left, right and left, right and left, right and left. And also we connected radio Jove receivers output. So all over the world, anyone can see the real-time record chart on the internet. We are so excited. And unfortunately, the streaming it was stopped because of the interruption of the radio link between UFRO and University of Florida. But still, we have archived data. So this is a student's material. I strongly recommend you to use these data because this is summary plot. Every day we made automatically summary plot. So student can check the Jupiter radio activities every day. So they can draw the map on the CML IO phase plane. So that's very educational way of thinking. So please use this Jupiter, Internet Jupiter Radio Observatory website. So these are another archive data. Every day you can see. Okay, so please go to jupiter.coach-city.jp. And another one is the computer graphics gallery. So my students are so smart. So we put these kind of computer graphics. And Jim Tiemann used this computer graphics. Actually, this can rotate by GIF animation. And this is very impressive computer graphics. So you can push this part so you can see the animations, something like this. So this is very easy to understand what's going on to receive Jupiter's radio emissions. So everything is 3D programs. So by using this kind of computer graphics, we can understand strong Jupiter's radio emissions penetrate the Earth. So very easy to understand. Okay, so this is latest computer graphics to explain Jupiter's radio emissions. So you can get this image on the slide files on inside USB soon. Okay, and another one is my work is satellite beaming model. So Chuck told in his talk he introduced the D-sub-E effect. So that's maybe caused by this kind of satellite beaming model. So anyone can consider holocron beaming is existing, but no one verified because of the high latitude, no high latitude observation. We just observing equatorial plane only. But if we consider this kind of satellite beaming model, so this is very simple. The cone is, one part of cone is intensified by some reason. So the reason is the radio source is has a very irregular structure. So if we consider this kind of structure, so we can consider the this kind of beaming model. That's my latest work. Okay, finally, I'd like to introduce our future project. So JAXA is considering this kind of lunar lander, and I'm involved in this project. So the LL first team, Lunar Low Frequency Astronomy Telescope, so-called LL first. So we are considering space Jupiter radio VLBI between Moon and Earth. So the separation, baseline length is something like this. That corresponds to 20 kilometer size on the Jupiter at the frequency of 25 megahertz. So principal investigator is Dr. Iwata, JAXA, and I'm sub-PI. And but still, we have not yet found it. But still, we are struggling the LL first project. And at first, we consider the lander observatory, but we switched from lander to orbiter, because lander's lifetime is only 1 week. Well, too short. So in case of orbiter, so more than 1 year observation, we can do that. So that's the latest one. Okay, and finally, I show my students' work. So also fun, because in Japan we have a satellite design contest. So 2007. So my students considering lunar low frequency radio observatory. So these are kind of a spring. So it's easy to expand. So, and the team of this satellite design contest, this lunar low frequency radio observatory was considered by my students. And one of my students is Masafumi Imai. He graduated our college, and now he is PhD student of the Kyoto University. He is now in Paris, Paris Observatory, Moudon. He's doing some research work under the guidance of Dr. Lekoshi. Okay, and another one is Lapos. So Lagrange point satellite network for Jupiter radio VLBI in 2011. And 2013, so last year my students considered limited. So the lander of the and orbiter. And finally, I like to show the latest satellite design by my students. Is something like this. So this is Raspberry Pi satellite for Jupiter radio observation. So at the time of the SARA conference, Raspberry Pi was introduced for you, and we are so excited about this one very small board computer, but that's a Unix machine, Linux machine, everything we can do. So we are considering this kind of Jupiter radio observation satellite, including Raspberry Pi. And but if we successfully get the prize, so this Raspberry Pi satellite can launch by JAXA rocket because these are 1 foot size, very small Jupiter radio observing satellite. So for us, this is the first step for the Moon-Earth baseline interferometer. So next one is Moon orbiter. But in this case, very simple, just going around the Earth. But our students are very smart, and they can consider many ways. So it's lots of fun. Okay, thank you very much.